Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast.
Back with us is Rohit Srivastava, Chief Investment Officer and Portfolio Manager with C3 Fund, to give us an update on the cannabis section of the C3 Fund. Rohit, thanks for being back on the podcast.
Thanks, Josh, for having me. And back after like a really long time. And part of the reason had been is that the last time when we left off, we did not had, we were out of the market and the market risk was high. So we were not really invested into that. And then the last 1 month, we're doing this after like a month, more than a month. And the last 1 month, there has been not a lot of activity around buying opportunities. So there has not been a lot of buying opportunities, and there's not been a lot of buying happening either on that.
So with an AI robot, explain that a little bit, because if that indicator came in around the 13th of August and the robot doesn't want to buy anything, kind of explain how that mechanism sort of works and functions for a buy and or sell.
Sure. So there are two aspects of the algorithm. The first aspect is it calculates and sees how much of a buy sell is happening. And it historically, and it has some calculation around finding derivatives on the pace in which the number of buy and sell is happening. You can say it is very similar to volatility. It checks on volatility. That is the volatility going up, and what it really means is that is the selling of stocks the overall market is exceeding the buying. And when it identifies any aspect of that, it basically tries to send the alert on that. And it calculates based on different factors, but the two ways it calculates is on a daily basis, it finds out if the selling is happening more than the buying. And on a day basis, it finds out if the selling is happening more than the buying. And when both, sometimes one triggers and the other doesn't, and sometimes the other triggers and the first one doesn't. But when they both trigger, it really is an alert to the AI system telling that there is an issue, there could be a probable high risk in which the market can sell off. And that's what it does. And during this August time, it was a little critical because I think what might have been happening is that the prices were spiking, and I think a lot of sellers were taking an opportunity to sell that. And ultimately, after the 9/2, that is when the market actually started selling off. So it was alerting from 8:13. It alerted again on 8:20. It alerted again on 8:28, and it alerted again on 9/2. So it was alerting multiple times, which really meant that there was a lot of selling that was happening as a result of that.
I might have got ahead of myself. This is for entertainment purposes only, not to be used for investment advice. We've got a disclosure. I'll let you take that.
That's correct. So let me go to the disclosure and tell that this is all for entertainment. This is all for learning. There is no professional advice given. And if you want to invest, please don't take our advice. Do your own analysis. This is all for explain how do we do the analysis and how do we do the investment. So this has nothing to do with like you guys can do your investment based on whatever you guys do the analysis. So that's the disclosure based on how basically our algorithm works. So again, we talk about cannabis index. We have been talking about cannabis index for more than a year now. And it is just like Wix tells us where the direction of the market is going. And this is about more than a year ago when we originally started this, incubated this idea of cannabis index. This was 3 months ago, 2 months ago, last month, and this month. So this month, again, it is still between that support line of 275 and 535. And this is a very strong support or resistance, whatever you can talk about that. And 475 is a very strong resistance or support. So I'm looking for it to stabilize in the next 2 months, but it really can't say based on just on this. And so we look at our money flow index, and you can see the money flow, there has been a great drop of highly sell off in the last 1 month. Like this is where when it fell down, this is where we were nervous about that if there is a market going to sell off or is going to take off on that. And I was expecting like a 200 to a $500 million drop off, but this is really a lot of drop off. And there might be buying opportunities by the end of this month or the middle of next month, I would say.
Those were
So
significant little dips, but based on this last one, it kind of just has shrunk the significance quite literally, where we were tracking those and it looked like it was
that is correct.
significant. And then you get to now and you're like, wow, that is a massive sell-off.
That is a massive sell-off. And a lot of cash out has been happened during that time. So I think we're still on hold. We're still trying to figure out when the market will turn around and it would be a good getting into buying point. And we have not done a lot of trades in that. So that's where we are, and that's why, I mean, one of the reasons there is not much to report in this aspect of that. But overall, it was a good opportunity to revamp how we present our data and how to tell people that, you know what, we did the incubation. We're now into the actual investment of the fund, and during the incubation, which is like we tested out our algorithms, and you can clearly see the huge difference between how MJ and Potex performed versus to our incubation process. But on reality process, when 8-1 we actually started investing, well, we are about 3% ahead. And one of the primary reasons versus MJ and Potex during this start from August 1st, they have been a negative of 28 and 19% respectively. So you can tell like that the AI is smart enough to understand when to be in the market and when not to be in the market. Again, the same thing. We'll keep reporting this every month, and going forward, we're not going to talk about anything which we did on incubation. We're purely talking about what is the real funds that has been invested, and this is where we are. Potex, MJ being negative 19% and Potex being negative 28%, while we are about 3%. Again, primarily because our AI identified a high risk. We were not in the market. We sold off the same way how we did it in February. That just took us one step, but 19% ahead of both the indexes. So this is just to explain you again that, you know what, we spent 1 year completely on incubation, trying to test out and make sure that whatever the algorithms are doing appropriately, tracking it almost every week. And for the last 1.5 months, even though we didn't have any investment, we're still ahead of the market. So that's the idea behind the AI. So overall, where we are is that it reverted back from the 535 support. We're sold all. We're holding nothing. And after the incubation, we are in the go live, and we are about 3.04% gain in positive in the cannabis index. And hopefully, like in the next 2 weeks, I think I'm guessing that from the middle of the October is when basically when the algorithm might turn around back again, and we might have some more investment during that time. But at this point, we're not holding anything. We're just waiting for the market to stabilize before we're getting into that.
Yeah, not a huge return at 3%, but it's a lot better than losing 20, 25%, whatever, 28% for Potex and losing 19% for MJ. I'll take a 1.5% per month gain any day of the week. You know, that's better than the S&P average. So, and obviously we're not even investing. So that's just kind of what happened in a week or maybe 10 days. So like you said, as soon as there's some more volume and movement, maybe if not in the latter half of the fourth quarter, it'll definitely happen first quarter as we get some more investment and movement in the industry overall. Aurora just took a $3 billion write down. So the industry is struggling. Essential businesses has been helping, but I think as time moves on, you're going to have less disposable income. Therefore, people are going to be kind of changing what their preferences are, but they're still going to go out there. Hopefully that'll be reflected in the market. Just kind of come back to the talking hedge and find out.
That's true.
All right. I want to thank my guest, Rohit Srivastava, Chief Investment Officer and Portfolio Manager with C3 Fund. Thanks for being back with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh, for having me.
You're welcome. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is The Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out. Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.